We're on lesson 5 of chapter 11, which we're going to solve inequalities by adding or subtracting. First, we're going to use the addition property of inequality. Then we're going to use the subtraction property of inequality. Then we'll solve a real-world problem. First, let's learn about the addition and subtraction properties of inequalities. And that tells you that you can add or subtract the same number on both sides of an inequality, and the inequality will still be true. So let's actually test that theory out. We have 3, which is less than 5, and that's a true statement. 3 is less than 5. What if we add 4 to both sides? Is that still going to be true? If we treat both sides of the inequality the same, this would be 7 is less than 9, and that still remains true. In fact, this is 2 less than this, just like this is 2 less than that. How about if we subtract 1 from both sides? 6 minus 1 is 5. Is that greater than 2 minus 1, which is 1? It's still true. Let's add 12 to both sides just to change it up. 4 plus 12 is 16. Is that less than 7 plus 12, which is 19? Sure is. How about if we subtract 4 from both sides? 3 minus 4 is negative 1. Is that greater than or equal to negative 4? It is, because that's a smaller negative. So knowing this, we can use this to solve algebraic inequalities that are not written so neatly. We have x plus 5 on one side, and that's greater than 2. Well, I know that I could subtract 5 from both sides to get me x by itself, and this will still be a true statement. So x would be greater than 2 minus 5, which is negative 3. So this is just as true as that statement, but now I can be more specific for x. We have x minus 4 is less than 4. I can get rid of this subtracting 4 by adding 4. So now I know that x is less than 4 plus 4, which is 8. And that's a still true statement. So let's use the addition property of inequality for these ones. So it says solve, then graph each solution set on a number line. We have x minus 12 is greater than 32. So I can get rid of this negative 12 or minus 12 by adding a positive 12. And we have to do that to both sides. So x is greater than 32 plus 12, which is 44. So if I put 40 here and counted by 2's, I could have an open circle at 44, and it would be greater than 44, so this would be my graph. If I have y minus 8 equaling negative 14, I can get rid of the subtracting of 8 by adding 8 to both sides. So y is now less than or equal to, after these cross off, negative 14 plus 8, which would be negative 6. So I could probably start at 0 here and count by 2's going down. So I will have a closed circle at negative 6 because y could be equal to that. And then I'm going to go to the left because it's smaller. It's less than negative 6. Now let's use the subtraction property. We have c plus 9 is greater than or equal to 20. Well, how do I get rid of this positive 9? Well, I could subtract 9 or do negative 9. So these cancel out. That leaves me with c is greater than or equal to 20 minus 9, which is 11. So for my scale, I'll start at 0 and count by 5's. Since c is greater than or equal to, I'll put my closed circle at 11, what looks like to be about 11, and we're going to be greater than that. So c is going to be in these numbers somewhere. Now we have negative 2 is less than x plus 16. Well, to get x by itself, I could subtract this 16 from both sides. So negative 2 minus 16 would be negative 18, and that's less than x. So trying it this way again with our scale at 0. If we go to negative 18, we can have an open circle there, and then x is greater than negative 18. So our arrow will be going to the right. So these will be the values for x. Now let's solve a real-world problem. It says Sunday's high temperature of 72 degrees Fahrenheit was at least 40 degrees higher than Monday's high temperature. What was Monday's high temperature? So if we're going to compare Sunday and Monday, for example, we'll use S for Sunday and M for Monday. Sunday was at least 40 degrees higher than Monday, meaning that Sunday would be greater than or equal to Monday, even if Monday had plus 40 degrees. It would still be greater than or equal to it. So that's one way you can write our equation. We know that Sunday's was 72, so I can replace this S with a 72. So the 72 degrees was greater than or equal to Monday plus 40 because it's at least 40 greater. Well, I could find Monday's by getting rid of this positive 40. If I would subtract 40 from both sides, then I would have 32 over here for the temperature, and that's greater than or equal to Monday just by itself because these crossed off. So I know that Monday was less than or equal to 32 degrees.